What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another AWS On Air. Today, we're here to talk about AWS Power Hour Security Specialty with the host of the series, the host with the most.
Hello, I'm Kyle Dickinson, your friendly neighborhood senior security specialty solution architect that focuses on threat detection and incident response. That one's a little longer than the last time. You weren't here for the fastest one of the bunch.
So for all of our friends watching, my name's Aaron Hunter. I'm a technical trainer on the AWS Training Certification team. Kyle and I were at Washington, D.C. last week.
We were. It was smoky.
It was smoky. And your timing, I feel like your timing has slipped on that title, Kyle.
Well, I got to be nice. People have to understand what I'm saying, all right?
Exactly. So what we have is the ability for us to talk about your series last year, which was the AWS Power Hour Specialty for Security.
Yeah, and funny enough, it was during Cybersecurity Awareness Month, the month of October.
Okay.
Or as I call it, Rocktober.
And I was not your host.
No, you were not my host. I wasn't your host. I was.
Yeah.
We had a friend named Johnny. We'll just pretend Johnny's sitting over there. Hi, Johnny.
Hi, Johnny. Hey, Johnny. Wave hi. Hi, Johnny.
No, you got to hit the on button.
Yeah. No, that. So walk me through the Security Specialty Certification, what that was focusing on for skilling up our learners.
Yeah, so the Security Specialty Certification, the name's written on the tin, as they say, but this is helping individuals understand what services they can use to secure their environments, but also with a little bit of flavor from me. I also like to focus on how can we use these security services to respond to a security event. And so for the 4 Mondays of October, which I didn't realize was 4 Mondays.
It was 4 Mondays.
4 Mondays.
Your last one was on what, Halloween in the U.S.?
Yeah, I was dressed and ready to go to take my daughter out trick-or-treating right after.
It was awesome. Thanks for doing that, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. And so we covered each different domain of the Security Specialty Certification across each episode. And in typical Kyle fashion everything is a little bit chaotic, which is great because it adds fun. But one thing that I'm super passionate about, and Aaron, you know this, and so do all the folks around us, is that I like making security as approachable as possible, no matter the skill level you have.
Remove the friction and get people inside the door.
Yeah, and so one of the focuses of these episodes for the Security Specialty Certification for Power Hour was, all right, I might be telling you something you already know, but then for those more advanced learners, I'm going to get you to some stuff that you might not already know. So we were trying to approach, every experience level live. And that's what's so cool about doing it live is you have your audience. We had our moderators. Shout out to our mod team.
Shout out to the chat mods. Yes.
Yeah. That was keeping it fun and engaging. And we were doing live demos, which, by the way, the demo folks, whomever is controlling of Murphy's Law, they were on our side because our demos went off, I could say, pretty much without a hitch.
100% perfect demos.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what you look for.
Yeah, because perfection is fun.
Should we bring up the page and kind of walk people through the entire series now that we talked about it?
Yeah, so what's awesome about this is that this is all indexed by episode and the description of the episode. So if you want to go back and watch it today, yes, we were airing live, but you were able to go back and view the recordings.
Yes.
And you can actually see a few office moments, too, because I was in the Seattle office at one point. I was, dressed as Halloween, so it's just kind of fun to see across the month of October.
Different variations of Kyle.
Different variations of Kyle. I even had my backpack with my laptop just propped up, and I had this, it was silliness, but it was awesome.
I saw that behind-the-scenes photo. So how do they get here? They type in awspowerhour.com.
So that's an excellent question.
Yeah.
So I guess you can search for AWS Power Hour Security Specialty Certification.
Yeah. Or they can type in awspowerhour.com. They can search for the specialty certification on the landing page there. And then what we can see on the screen is the main landing page for the overall security collection. So it doesn't show the specialty collection. It doesn't show the security up front. You're going to see SAP on AWS. You see the others, data analytics, because how many certifications are there for specialty?
A lot.
6.
And shout out to also those other Power Hours, too, for those specialty certifications.
Yes.
We were all just very amped to do these series for the specialty certification. So you had folks for SAP, advanced networking, machine learning, I'm biased. I say security was epic, but these are all just great things to do.
I have to agree. In this moment in time, security was the most epic because we're here at a security conference. So all the others, they're equally great. But because I'm with Kyle today, right now, I'm kind of influenced. There's some bias there, not going to lie.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yep. All right. So once they're on the security tab,
yep.
You mentioned that it's broken down by domains. There are 4 episodes.
Yes. So the first domain, this was kind of just like setting the stage. Reminds me of a song, Set the Stage. Anyway, I'm sorry. So we cover, this was the episode where it was like, all right, learners of all experience levels, we're going to go over something you probably already know, but this was to level set our terms that we're going to be using, like shared responsibility model.
Wait. I've heard about that. What is that?
It's the shared responsibility model that shows who is responsible for what.
Okay.
And I always joke around and say it's not a security talk until you have the shared responsibility model.
Yeah.
I almost said SRA because that was with Liam just earlier.
Okay.
But the shared responsibility model is you can break it down to who's responsible for security of the cloud and who's responsible for security in the cloud.
In the cloud.
Yep.
So AWS is responsible for security
of the cloud,
like the physical perimeter, the infrastructure, all that.
The cooling,
the
heating, the hardware, the logistics,
and
all of that.
And the customers are responsible for security in the cloud. So like access controls in terms of, so like IAM permissions and configuration.
Yep, configuration, who has access to what data. And we also talk about how the shared responsibility model kind of slides based on what services you are leveraging within AWS.
Like a managed service.
Like a managed service.
Okay.
So if you looked at S3, which is a way to store objects within Amazon, I say objects because it could be files, it could be photos, it could be just unstructured
videos,
data. Quite literally anything that has bits in it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Because it's an object store, not a file system.
Yes. So if people know about like blob storage, the similar concept.
Yeah. And so with those concepts, you don't need to worry about administering the underlying computer hardware.
Yeah.
So that's, a prime example of a managed service. And then you talk about EC2, which is Elastic Cloud Compute. That's going to be very similar to your traditional like on-prem server, like running Windows or Linux.
Like a VM.
Yeah. So you have access to configuring that operating system and then doing all the things so that you have more responsibility, but you also have the more control of the configurations of that too.
Do you talk about EC2 security within the entire series anywhere?
We do.
Okay.
So we talk about, so we level set with the intro on episode 1. Then I'm biased. I come from the customer incident response team. I focus on threat detection and incident response. I say it in my title, but truly that's my day-to-day.
Okay.
And so we also add some real-world examples of how I've been involved with incident response.
In episode 2.
When we talk about episode 2
Got it.
on how to enable logging and monitoring and how to respond to security events within AWS.
Because if you don't have the logs, then it's like you're kind of guessing.
Yeah. And I mean, as much as I love to guess, when it comes to responding to a security event, we should probably know what's happening.
Yeah.
And then you talked about, well, hey, what about configuring EC2 and securing that? That's where we talk about that in our infrastructure security episode.
Episode 3. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's EC2.
Yep.
Okay.
And actually, we had our viewers try to poke around Johnny's EC2 instance.
What?
But also what was hilarious is that you could see these logs of goofiness as it was going on.
Yeah.
Because I kind of wanted that to happen anyway.
Yeah. And you have like some resources here to like share with people in case they want to go see it. You talked about the on-demand or the recording because obviously it's not live anymore.
Yeah. Actually, when you hit watch on demand, I just pop up in front of you and I start rattling off everything.
Let's do this real quick. See if we can get it over. There it is. Starting in 14 seconds.
Right.
Okay, let's watch this, everyone. Go watch it live. Watch the whole thing because we can only watch like 10 seconds of this. But 5, 4. Let's see if I can. Oh, there you are.
Hey, that's my house.
That's your house.
That's my stormtrooper.
Who's your friend behind you?
That's TKB33R.
TKB33R.
TK beer. So this, the resources include, we're talking about particular topics. It's like, hey, here's the resources. And it's not just like a, hey, read the documentation kind of thing.
Yeah.
There's also blog posts, other webcasts that have been done, like by myself or other folks about the particular topic as well.
A whole lot of resources to help people. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not just, hey, go study, read the docs, and then no, let's listen to real-world applications and how we can go about addressing
how to solve those problems.
Security.
Yeah.
And then going to identity and access management.
I thought you said 4 episodes.
I thought I said 4. I did say 4, actually.
Okay, there's a 5th one here.
I don't math good. I told you I'm not a rocket doctor.
You know what? Bonus episode number 5, everyone. Bonus episode number 5.
So that tells me there's 5 Mondays in October.
Was it? Hold on. Let's go up. Yes, there were 5 episodes. There were 5 Mondays in October, at least in 2022.
So identity and access management is a huge topic in itself.
Yes.
This is how we're providing authorization and authentication to our AWS accounts. And, I'm not an identity expert, but I know how when identity is not done properly, how things can go wrong.
Yes.
And so if we look at security events that a lot of customers have been impacted by, it's been because of misuse of exposed credentials or over-provisioned permissions. And so we tie in a lot of those real-world experiences that we've had with IAM exposure and the like, and talk about how we can make this more scalable, but also, looking at all the different learners and where they're at in their journey. It's like, okay, if you're starting brand new, let's show you how to do these best practices.
Yep.
But if you're already in it,
like not using the root account.
Not using the root account.
Or the account root user, yeah, because that's like top priority. Security is top priority. Don't use the account root user. Do you know how many tasks require the account root user?
Last I read, I thought it was like 3. Might have dwindled even more. 9?
It's 9. It used to be 10. Now it's 9. So the 10th one that is no longer required is to delete an S3 bucket policy that pretty much blocked you out. So now you can do that.
I've done that before.
Oh my! It's so terrible. It's like the worst feeling in the world.
Yeah.
It's like I locked myself out of my car.
And actually, my daughter almost locked me out of the house by accident the other day. So getting locked out of things is my forte. So it's
Speaking of getting locked out of things, how do we lock people out of things? Like get people locked out of our data.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we talk about data protection. This one's the one where I'm dressed for Halloween.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
We gotta do this.
Believe it or not, it is very difficult to wear a headset and a Viking helmet at the same time.
Oh my God! There you go. Okay, so this is your Halloween episode.
And you notice that the friend in the back does not have the helmet on anymore.
Yeah, you stole that. I see that right there. Yeah, you totally stole that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and so that episode was talking about data protection, and again, what we love about talking about data protection is, one, how to protect it, but how to make your data accessible. KMS.
Yes.
KMS. Encrypt the things.
Encrypt all the things.
But we also talk about how to make workloads a little more resilient because, security, a lot of folks may have different opinions of the definition of security.
Yeah.
But I think security takes a big part in ensuring the accessibility of services.
Yep.
Whether that be, during an investigation or whether that be double checking that high-impact workloads have resiliency built in.
Yes.
Because, as you know, if something is, occurring in one environment and you want to be able to quickly switch over to the other to kind of have like that, hot standby or warm standby, or even with infrastructure as code, you could just have that template and say, okay, let's fire up infrastructure over in this other region.
Different regions, different accounts.
Yeah. So it's, I say resiliency is pretty important when we look at data protection as well. Not just encrypting your data, but how can you make your data accessible, and how can you also ensure that unauthorized users can't make your data inaccessible for you?
Yes.
So that's a huge one.
Ransomware attacks, all that, because that's a hot buzzword right now, right?
It is.
Not even a buzzword; it's a real thing. And protecting your data from those types of attacks.
My year last year was running around with my colleague talking about ransomware that impacts data residing in S3.
Did you run around in a circle, or did you go run to help people?
Ran to help people.
Okay.
In a circle.
That makes sense.
With my hair on fire.
Checks out.
Definitely checks out.
So we keep talking about KMS, encrypting all the things.
Yeah.
I imagine with episode 5, you're talking about data protection using KMS. And you probably mentioned that it's FIPS 140-2 level 2 certified, right?
Sure.
Has that changed since then?
I believe so. I believe it's now level 3.
Level 3.
This was October, Eric.
I know. But I'm just trying to show, sometimes things change.
With we looking just the last 2 months, how much guard duty has changed.
Yeah.
New security services like Security Lake were just announced.
I think I saw 20 announcements today. on the What's New page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's always changing, always evolving. And this is one of those things that I try to help with on lockdown.
Yeah.
Is connecting the pieces of, hey, this is kind of like the wrap up of what's new as far as content goes, because there's always awesome content on the AWS Security blog.
Yes.
And then also new service releases or feature releases too.
Yep.
And how you can get ramped up to using those different security services or new features. And it's really interesting. I've had conversations with lots of different viewers where they've been, I've been with the organization, thousands of accounts, 1 billion workloads.
That's a lot of workloads.
That's a lot of workloads.
That's a lot of, yeah.
I use arbitrary number. Again, I'm not a math scientist.
No,
right?
I mean, thousands of accounts and billions of numbers. Yeah, it checks out.
75,
Fleventy-five, yeah.
So it's so when they have these 75 workloads, it's, how can they learn and how can they evolve? Because also being cognizant or sensitive to that, sometimes turning the ship is slow going.
It's not overnight.
No. So
you can pin the wheel all the way to the right, and it won't do anything for a while.
Yeah, and I think having that understanding of just really how large organizations can work. Ryan's right behind us.
I see Ryan Orsi.
Yeah, I saw.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Oh, he's ignoring us. Gosh, he's so cool. So it's having that sympathy really connects with the different viewers and those that want to learn, because it's like we could say, you got to do this now or you're not doing it good.
Right, yeah.
And then you're like, well, thanks for that confidence.
Well, so it's a conversation starter, showing them the problem, showing them how to get to the end result, and then eventually, hopefully, leading them there.
Exactly, because sometimes you have adopters of AWS because they started with an idea, they rapidly prototype, then all of a sudden, that workload is now a production workload.
Yes.
But they were so focused on just getting their idea out to fruition that maybe they weren't thinking about best practices or ways to secure things. And so, now let's have that conversation. Let's scale it back. These are ways that you could do that. And to this day, which I love, by the way, so if you watch these on-demand episodes and reach out to me on LinkedIn, to this day.
And Johnny, right? So Johnny and Kyle are on LinkedIn. Let's see. Do they have they don't have any of your info. How do they find you, Kyle?
If you Google my name, it will show up. And I've always never wanted to say that.
You're the only Kyle Dickinson in the world?
According to Bedrock, there's a professional football player.
Yes?
Yeah, last week.
Yeah, we found that out. Yeah. All right, so we have about 2 minutes left. Let's go ahead and go back to episode 5, because I see here it says, and the specialty certification exam.
Yeah, and during that time, there was actually a Get Certified challenge going on where we were handing out, was it a 50% off voucher if you took the exam before December or something?
Yeah, so that's not happening now.
But it's not happening now.
All of our friends, at least they can take advantage of the 50% off associate certification challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, and so this was really cool. Because this was all to ramp folks up to become familiar of what they're going to need to understand to take that security specialty cert. And like a couple weeks later, I had a handful of folks tell me that they just passed their security specialty cert. So
congratulations.
That's always heartwarming.
Yes. I see tears are going, yes.
Yeah. And so, again, you see here the exam readiness, the different resources we talk about.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we also have the practice question set as well, so you can understand what.
Okay.
Skill builder.
Okay. Well, let's see. Let's go back. What else do we have? So there's
the specialty
official practice question set.
Yep.
Is that going to be it? Let's see if we can get that to load.
It's official.
It might be Skill Builder as well. Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
So here's the official practice question set within Skill Builder.
Yep. So this will give you an idea of what kind of questions to expect and how they're worded, and ways to look at the questions, because it sometimes could be what is the best option of the few answers that you have available to you, and so just,
and that's free.
Yeah.
Like AM's over there, and AM knows my favorite. My wake word is free.
Mine is free 99, but also food.
Yes, also food.
And also cake pops.
Cake pops. All right, let's go back to this.
Yes.
So here I also see that the exam readiness certified security specialty is also free.
Free.
Would you recommend people choose one over the other?
They could do both because it's free.
That wasn't even an option, but yeah, you found it.
Yeah. I mean, my profession is to find ways around barriers, right?
Yeah. You know what? Ways around barriers. Go to awspowerhour.com, search for the specialty certification, check out the security specialty, and check out Kyle on LinkedIn.
That's me.
See everyone. Stay here for more from AWS On Air, live from Reinforce in Anaheim.